I have me freaking out on there being like, oh my God, like this is incredible.
Hey everybody, it's MoonLiteWolf, and in honor of Season 9, aka Apex Legacy, Apex reached out to me to have a chance to interview with the voice actress for the latest character known as Valkyrie, as well as the writer. So I want to have you guys sit down and just listen to our conversations where we open up and just get a little bit more detail and behind the character and what it was like to work on the character with Respawn. Thank you so much, Apex, for sponsoring this video, and let's get into it.
Hi everyone, welcome. We're all super stoked for Season 9, aka Apex Legacy. But first, I would like to introduce the voice actress for the new Valkyrie, which we're all super hyped for.
Hello, I am Erika Ishii. It's so good to be here. I can talk about it finally.
I know that's exciting. And Tom, the writer for the amazing Valkyrie.
Yeah, Tom Casielo. I'm a senior writer with Apex Legends, and I was in charge of Valkyrie's character and dialogue and backstory and all that fun stuff.
I'm so honored that you guys have me here today because, just working in audio in general, I can really appreciate voice actors and all of how they commit to the characters, as well as the writers and what they put into the characters to bring them to life. And what I would love to hear, Tom, is what was your inspiration for starting up Valkyrie for Apex? Because we know she's also tied to the Titanfall 2 lore, which everyone's super stoked about. You got everyone riled up about that. Good for you.
And we kept that a secret for a long time, man. That was one of the few things that we thought when we came up with it. We're like, we have to keep this under lock and key. We can't tell anybody that it's Viper's daughter. So Valk started with a character designer who came up with a kit. They wanted a flying legend. They really wanted to explore that and have it in a way that doesn't make her too OP and doesn't make her too oh god, everybody's gonna want to play her. Everybody wants to play her and everyone wants to play anybody else. So it took a lot of trial and error trying to get her settings right. When they came to us about the flying legend, we had ideas, and Mo Alavi, who was our narrative director, really wanted to do this Top Gun fantasy of Tom Cruise and Top Gun with her, and nice. We were on board with that.
That boy loves his Top Gun.
Yeah.
And aliens.
He does love it. And then he was the one who came up with the Viper connection. And the moment he said it's Viper's daughter, it was everything started to click into place. The entire short with Blisk and the bar and the gun and everything was written in 5 minutes after he said that he wanted to be Viper's daughter. It was oh, I see this, and I saw the bar and I saw the whole thing and the revenge story about her dad, and it just all made sense to me. And I wrote the whole thing down, and it went through obvious changes and whatnot over the years, but for the next 2 years, that was Valkyrie's story, and it's stayed pretty close to it.
I think that speaks a lot for a character when you're just instantly I know exactly what I want. And
yeah.
When it was, I'm assuming actually, when it comes to video games, if I'm correct, Erika, you didn't know who you were auditioning for, right? Because secrets or...
Okay, so here's the thing about auditioning for video games is that 90% of the time you have no idea what it is you're auditioning for. Sometimes you don't get character art, you don't know what the project title is. Sometimes it's fake lines that you've been given. And so on my end, one day I showed up at my agent's to record a bunch of auditions, and bang a couple out. And they're this one is really cool. And there's a bunch of call outs, and the character description is incredible. And then there's this little chunk of dialogue of this character with some other guy she's getting revenge against. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I was sitting with my interactive agent, Brittany, who is the best. And she's like, this is so you, you have to book this. I don't know who else in the world this is. I was like, oh, what is it? Is it Call of Duty or something? And she's like, no, it's Apex Legends. And I was like, no. And I grabbed the booth engineer, and I was like, no, we're re-recording this. Now that I know what it is, I gotta go back in and do this again. And so I did that. And I didn't this was a 7-month process for me. I had 3 rounds of initial auditions and then 1 callback. And just the whole time, I just you don't know. I didn't know she was, oh my God, Tom, I just realized though that the 5x5 line is in the audition, was in the initial audition.
Yeah, and that was important.
How did I not put that together?
I know, we wanted it in there. I remember talking to Mo about it, being we have the 5x5 line in there. People are gonna figure it out. And he's like, I need to hear how she says it. If I don't hear how she says it, we can't cast her. And I was like, you're right, but damn, like we're gonna give it away. Look at Erika right now.
Well, I mean, I put it together. I don't know how anybody else could have put it together, especially if they didn't know. Like my agent just happened to know that it was Apex Legends, but like if like I didn't know because for all I knew, I was like, oh, it's like a line, and I'd played Titanfall too, but I was like, I'm more associated with aliens, I think at the time. So it's like yeah, you do it like the flat pilot sort of a voice and everything, but like. Oh my God, that would have been like a huge thing to break on the blog.
And I have to say, like I have to jump in and say this because sometimes the voice actor comes along and you're like, oh, that's it. That's the one. And we know. Valkyrie might have been, trying to think, I really think she's the longest we took to cast. Like it took 7 months for Erika. It was probably about 11 to 12 months for us. Like we could not find like, and I thought we had it in Erika the moment she auditioned the first time. I was like, this is it. This is about we have her. But it was really
7 months to tell me that.
There were so many components to her. There was like the military pilot aspect, and there was like the who she is when she's drinking at the bar at the end of the day, and then there's like the dad revenge story, and like there were so many different parts to her, and the Japanese stuff. Like there were so many different parts of her, and trying to find that one person who like could do everything and do all at once was like, and Erika, you're wonderful. Like you're the closest we have. Like it was magic, and I knew it from the very beginning. But yeah, it was a long process and trying to get everybody on board. It's like, okay, this is our Val. This because people cared about her on the studio, man. She's Viper's daughter. It was like everybody had a problem with everyone. It was like they wanted to be perfect. And
it was really you're their baby. It's like you're their baby.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so when it comes to obviously the whole like you having to keep secrets and all this other stuff, I know, and if we had emails back and forth about this, in terms of, we're not going to dive too deep in right away. I want to kind of save that a little bit for later. But if you, in terms of you keeping it a secret, I know, Tom, that this is very difficult for you to keep a secret. I'm talking about her in general, just in general, talk about her, because you guys love this character. I even see Apex developers saying, finally, we can talk about Valkyrie. So what are your favorite things about Valkyrie that you think was the hardest for you to keep concealed, and what reason you really wanted to talk about her?
Oh, I mean, the fact that she's Viper's daughter was the number one thing. I mean, we knew how important Titanfall 2 was to the players and to the fans. And this is we have characters who are connected to the Titanfall universe, but not like this, not like a direct connection to a character that's beloved. I was terrified that we were revealing Viper's face and his, who he is and his personal life. I thought, oh my God, they're going to hate us. Because the thing that everybody loves about Viper is that he's this mystery.
Yeah, like Master Chief. Yeah.
It's like
I was terrified. It was all right? Like broken our face.
He's like so cool because like you never see his face, and he's just like this badass and everything. And then you're like, oh God, like if you know the man behind the mystery, is he gonna still be really cool? But like, man, it's just like you rounded it out in such a perfect way.
Well, thank you. Yeah, really, Viper's daughter. I'm trying to think what else we wanted to like really keep a secret. Her story, man. We there's a long story as to how we come up with the story, but Valkyrie's story in launch is one of my favorite stories. I'm so excited to tell it. I'm so excited. Everybody on the team is excited to tell it. We've been talking about it for 2 years in the studio. We're really excited for it.
So what I'm really, I'm sorry, Erika, were you about to say something?
Oh, no. It's like, it was so hard for me because like usually in this industry, you're kind of under friend DA because you can at least talk with like other people at the company about it sometimes, or it's just like things are locked down tight in games. And for this one was especially like I was threatened not only with like legal action, but with like serious friendship repercussions, right? Like,
oh no.
Like this was like, look, you cannot tell anybody about this, like not your friends, not any partners you might
not
have,
the other voice actors,
right?
You couldn't tell the other voice actors.
And that's the thing, is like Darren is like a father to me. Darren is like a father to me. Anjali is like one of my best friends. Like Matt Mercer, who's Jack Cooper, is like family. And like I couldn't say anything to anybody about it, but I was involved with it in any way. And it was like this was the hardest kept secret ever. Like I think the only person who like sort of knew was Darren, because like he actually helped read with me in that initial audition for like the second round of initial auditions. I was like, Darren, help.
Oh, the stuff with Blisk, where we wrote
with
the scene.
Blisk. Yeah, he was kind of my Blisk. He was like, but we didn't know it was Blisk either, you know?
Right.
It was like the code name Fontaine or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think what I loved seeing was everyone's fan reactions basically to Valkyrie and her connection to Titanfall 2. I saw people going back and playing the Titanfall 2 boss battle just because of that, and everybody's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the connection." So I think what I love is, well, there's a lot of things I love about Apex, which I've expressed fondly many times. It's how you guys stay loyal to the Titanfall universe, but at the same time keep Apex as like it's its own story, it's its own world. It just has ties. So now it seems like they're now coming closer together, but it's not losing its identity, which I really appreciate. So if there's anything more that you can tell us, because I'm not trying to push you too hard, Tom, if there's anything more that you think you can tell us that ties that we could at least look forward to, that'll kind of share the connections with Titanfall and Apex, and or was this just like a little tease, would you say?
Oh, we're so the nice thing about Valkyrie, like you said, is that we're kind of taking the Titanfall 2 and we're building on it. We're building on that mythology instead of like just throwing it in there and just ignoring it. We are building upon it, and we're going to be doing the same thing again very soon.
Okay.
I would like you to point over your left shoulder, like just point over your left shoulder.
This one?
Just up a little. You guys are monsters. You're monsters.
Are you talking about the Titans?
That's BT's arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's BT's arm.
Viper.
And that was Manny. Manny was like, we have to have BT's arm in there. We have to have BT's arm in there. I was like, oh my God.
That was so Manny, good. Right? Manny was like, I was like just pushing for it.
Yeah, he had to have the arm in there. Yeah, we're gonna be doing it with a few characters. And what I like about it is we're taking what you already know and we're building upon it, and we're adding new stuff that makes sense based on who they are, as opposed to just taking the character, throwing it in and saying, well, we're done, that's it. They have a journey to go on. And the great thing about Apex is live service, and so all of our characters have a journey to go on, and they can evolve and they can grow. And so finding ways where we can take these Titanfall 2 characters and have them evolve and grow has been really cool.
Yeah. And you even have Rampart tied in a little bit there with her I don't know what you call it, if you call it short, what we call the video a short that we have for Valkyrie, her animation. Yeah. So we have Rampart. They clearly have some form of connection or bond, or they know each other.
They do. Right? And you're going to find out more about that in season 9. They are best friends. There's a story there. Rampart was involved in multiple parts of her life besides turning the North Star into the jetpack. I don't want to say too much about it because
I actually don't know this. I actually don't know like where they first met or anything, but like I just know they're besties, and it's just like so perfect.
I will say the story of their first meeting, I believe, is in one of the loading screens.
What? Ooh, okay.
The story of their first meeting, and yeah, it was really important to us. We wanted Rampart's a great character, and she's so much fun to write. But we wanted her to have a female friend. She doesn't really have a female friend, and it just made sense if she turned the Titan into the jetpack, and like it just made sense they would get along, and we really wanted to like kind of explore that, and you know, a lot of people online are jumping onto the idea of that she's a love interest, which is awesome. That people, I love how they ship
shipping. Look.
Oh yeah, fans love shipping.
It exists in the world. We're all gonna ship it. You know,
yeah.
That's just how.
And I will say one thing, and Erika, I'm going to toss this to you because the fans are right about one thing when it comes to Valkyrie. We can reveal that here.
Oh my gosh! Well, but see here. So here's the thing about Valkyrie is that when I read the character breakdown and from all of our sort of even initial callback conversations about her, I was like, oh, she's like me. She's just this hard partying, snack scarfing, like mixed Japanese fly boy who's like a total lady killer. I think how it was introduced to me was like, I don't know, I don't want to like reveal all her lines and stuff like that, but there was like at the end of my callback where I just sort of like run through the script and you're like, great, thank you so much. We'll call you. Does anybody else need anything? Anybody else? And Manny's like, hey, can you give me a like, how about a like, I'll tell your girlfriend I said bye. And I was like, is
Mm.
she queer? And they're like, yeah, she's a lesbian and stuff. And I was like, what? You can hear it. I have because I had to send you guys the audio of my internally recorded callback. And I have me freaking out. I have me freaking out on there being like, oh my God, like this is incredible. So yeah.
I love their, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you again.
Yeah, sorry, no. Please interrupt me or I will keep talking forever about it.
No, it's great. I want you to.
In our mind, she's been our first lesbian character for the last 2 years. I mean, she's been a lesbian since almost day one, since I started. So like every time somebody complained that we had no lesbian representation on the game, it was like, no, we do though. We do. She's coming.
Just wait. Yeah. Just wait. I loved her emails and how excited Erika was when she put a GIF in there saying, I'm so excited for her character who's coming and she's just gay. Like, what was it, like a
gay seal GIF? I put the gay seal GIF in the gay.
I can't wait for the LGBTQ community to just make like a pride post with Valk and Gibraltar and Bloodhound, who is obviously non-binary.
And
no representation.
Loba is confirmed by, and the robot bucks. So we've got
a whole rainbow all up and through Apex. I love that the representation is so important. I mean, there's some obviously people who can't really appreciate when it comes to representation, but Apex has really been selling it when it comes to representation. I'm talking about Valkyrie now. Valkyrie is even a part of an interracial family. So she's like representing on all different scales. Okay, you guys are like, we're just gonna sell her.
And she's the most challenging thing as a writer to kind of tackle was that like she is representing various parts of her life in the dialogue. And so it's like every line of dialogue, it was, well, is this where she represents being a lesbian? Is this where she represents being Japanese? Like, what do I pick for this one? Like, there's so much stuff about her that you can draw on. It was almost overwhelming in the beginning to kind of figure out like, who is she as a person? Like, underneath all of this, she's not just our lesbian character or our Japanese character. She's a human being. And so trying to find that human and all that was really...
Well, and that's the thing that I love about her from the very start is none of it was tokenism. It was all like, she's her own thing. Like, she's this, like, she felt so real. She's one of the most real characters I've ever had the honor of portraying. It's also interwoven into her story because like, I think we can sort of hint that like, yeah, like it's her, all these aspects of her personality are front and center, like in canonically in stories, like in the comics, in the game itself, in the dialogue, just like it is Valk is Valk. Valk is Valk. And like, she has all these things that she is, but they don't define her. And that was something that, because I grew up, I'm mixed, Japanese, Chinese, American, and queer and gender fluid, and it's like those are all things that I am, but they don't define it in me. I'm also like a snack goblin and a gamer and all these other things, and they just let Valk be Valk. And Tom was always sort of open to me being like, oh, like, but what if we did well, what about this? And that was that's just not something you don't get to help create and build your character in games ever, just because like there's so much, because of the gameplay and design elements, there's so much you just have to cram in, and sometimes there's just no room for letting an actor collaborate on the piece.
Eric Kraber, I gotta give a shout out to Eric Kraber, who's our audio director. Like, he is it's really important to him that he talks to every cast member and gets their take on it and makes sure, I mean, obviously they don't have the final say and everything, but like, we tried to cast people who were from these backgrounds and were these nationalities and who had stories to tell about their families, and any way we can incorporate that into the character, we do, because it's they know better than us. I'm a white boy from Connecticut. What the hell do I know? Like, I want to know these things. Like, yeah.
Right. And so like early up top, Tom and I were DMing and stuff, and he was like, please. And that was like, it's such a gift, just as an actor and even as a gamer, because this is the kind of character that I have dreamed of seeing my whole life growing up. There's nobody like Valk, and for on so many fronts. And so just be able to play her in this game that I already was playing a ton of is it just blows my mind every single day that I wake up.
That's so awesome. I love hearing that. Just hearing the passion in general. That's how you know that you're creating a really great product, when there's passion on both ends. The actor, the writer, the would you say audio director, I believe is who you mentioned before,
Yeah.
Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, that goes a long way in terms of what the product ends up really turning out to be, and fans are going to appreciate it. I know they will.
I was scared, like going into this, like we in some ways, of course, like just before the recording, I was terrified, but it was really just like in the lead up to the North Star release, I was so scared because it was really, and I didn't know that the name of the season was Legacy until that trailer dropped. Which maybe it's good I didn't know, because I would have been even more scared. But yeah, like Valk is carrying on this legacy, and it feels like this huge step, even with arenas, like just everything feels like it's converging on this season, and and
wait until you read the comic.
Yeah. Oh my God, no. And so like it was also this balance of like, since I'm a fan too, I was like, I want to know like what a new weapon this season, but no, don't tell me though. Don't tell me. It's been this weird balance of like trying to enjoy it as a fan, but then also being as informed as I need to be as a performer.
It's like no spoilers, but a little bit of spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, but like seriously, I have at some point, I have like a document on my phone of all the dumb questions that I asked during sessions. Like I was like, look, now that I'm a legend, you guys have to listen to all of the feature requests that I have and all of the lore requests that I want, so.
My favorite is when Erika comes in and she's got some internet rumor she'd read on Reddit or something, and it's completely false and not even close to being true. And she's like, oh, this is that. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Who's this? And I was like, yeah, no, clear, like rumored for season 11, right? No. Yeah, I am on the subreddits, all of them.
Yeah, and that last video I saw announcing that it's so cool that she's like, obviously, when different characters are announced, there's always hype, like, oh, new character, new abilities, and all this. But the fact that she's tying in this whole new way of gameplay for the next season, and if a bow, which is like, it's like such a simple but amazingly like intricate weapon. And when I'm thinking about any game that has something like a bow, because it's like you can be a sniper, but can you snipe with a bow? It's different. I'm excited to see the gameplay on it.
And much like Valkyrie, the bow went through various incarnations and lots of the process in the bow was long and hard. David Bocek, his name is David Bocek. He created the bow and he did an amazing job with it. It's fun to play with it.
Like to me, the bow is sort of like the hotness in games, right? So I mean, like like we all know about the famous bows and all the different, like even Lara Croft has a bow now, right? So it's just like you have to have a bow if you're gonna be a big game. So it's so cool that like, and I didn't know until like the very, very end.
I'm actually wondering. I slightly related, but in terms of when it comes to Tom, I guess this question is more for you. Would it be possible to see, because I know that these exist, outtakes when it comes to recording, because obviously her lines are still we only have a very few that we can even talk about right now, but would it be possible to get outtakes at all, or maybe as like some kind of Easter egg in the game, just a way of unlocking outtakes?
We use a lot of the outtakes, like a lot of times, like a lot of times somebody and if it's like completely out of character, but like a lot of times our cast is great because they'll do the lines as written, and then for like the third take or the fourth take, they'll add a little something to it. And like I have to say, I would say 7 out of 10 times we're like, ooh, that's a good one. And we like how they change it. It's they're professionals and they get the line of dialogue done right the way that it should be done, but then they do something else with it and it's a lot more fun. I mean, Erika did it. Roger, who plays Mirage, is notorious for it. He's. I mean, you can give Roger a line of dialogue and he'll Mirage it to like the nth degree. He said lines for the Winter Express that like we couldn't use in game because they were way too long. But oh my God, crying. We were laughing so hard.
Years ago or something like that. I was in a workshop and some director was talking about how they worked with Darren DePaul, and they were like, well, like Darren, usually you do an A, B, and a C take, right? And so they'll be like an A and a B, like Darren will do like sort of like the line as written, but then with like some twist on it. But then the C take will be like just the wild one, right? And like they're like 20% of the time, like 80% of the time we'll use an A or a B, but like C is like where the magic really happens. And it's like that 20% that we use it that is like so special. And so that was really cool to just be like, can I try something? Like, can I try something weird?
And
Do you guys have a
character? So it wasn't like you were going like outside the realm of this character. You got her immediately. So like when you wanted to try new things, it was stuff that you picked up on from other lines of dialogue. It was,
right.
You know, can I add this here? Can I throw this in here? Like it all made sense for the character, and we love that stuff.
Do you guys have a favorite line that, at least from the 2 videos that have been released so far? Because I know there's some that you can't talk about because it's probably in game and you can't talk about it. But
yeah, the one that I love, I just love the story behind it, because so I have multiple lesbians who are very close to me in my life. And I kind of modeled her after a few of them. And there was one line that I wrote. And I remember the guys on our team were like, is this offensive? Is it offensive? And I'm like, what's offensive about it?
I know which line this is. This is also my favorite line, I think.
He says, and if I screw up the line, I apologize, but it's, I would sell an ovary for a sandwich right now. and it's something that a friend of mine says all the time. Like, I would sell an ovary for whatever right now. Like, she says it all the time. And the guys on the team, when I wrote that, were like, is it offensive if we say ovary? And I was like, why would that be offensive? That's offensive.
Oh,
and it was like,
no.
But is it though? Like, people get mad about it? I'm like, no, it's not like a 4-letter word. Like, what are you talking about? and because of that response, I was like, we have to have this line in there now. Like,
absolutely.
Ashley's like, oh my God, I can't believe we have the word ovary in a line of dialogue. This is amazing. Like she loved it. And I was like, all right, Ashley loves it. I love it. It's in.
I love that line. I love that line. I that's not the one that I thought you were talking about. I don't know if I can say the one that I feel like I want people to discover my favorite one.
Right.
Oh.
Can you give me a hint?
It's about how she likes her women.
Oh, yes. That's another one. You know what? Let's do it.
Okay. It's
also a line a friend of mine uses.
It's so great because it's like it's like all my identities get like, and all her identities get like pinged, and it's like, I like my women like I like my sake, cool, unfiltered, and on somebody else's tab.
Ooh.
Like,
I
got into that like before I recorded, and I was like, oh my God.
There's a little piece of I don't know if you guys watched the L Word when it was first out, but Shane on the L Word. There's a little bit of Shane in Valkyrie. Like, Shane is the character I love, and I kind of love that she owns her sexuality outright, just like isn't ashamed of it. Just she'll sleep with anybody. She doesn't care. And there's a little bit of like that in Valk. Like, Valk is kind of a party girl, and she's not a party girl like Paris Hilton, that kind of party girl, but she'll throw back shots at the bar, and she will steal your girlfriend, and she will make her move. She has no qualms about it.
Yeah,
I can definitely see how Rampart and her are friends. Absolutely.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Like, and that's the thing is like before any of this happened, it's like, I think Tom messaged me and it was like, oh my God, are you and Anjali actually friends in real life? And I was like, yeah, I gave her for her birthday. I got her like a sample pack of like my favorite sakes. And then like for my birthday, she got me a mace. Because I work out with like weapons with like swords and maces and stuff.
Oh,
and
the spiky mace.
Yeah, like a mace, like an iron mace and a club.
Medieval.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she gives me weapons and I give her booze and stuff. And it's like, and then we found out that that's kind of their relationship in the game.
Yep.
And it's like
that world's so small.
It's actually, and there were already all these connections that I had with the legends, like with Anjali, and then Darren. Like, he is such a sweet man. Like, he and his wife Deb have been there for me, like in times like when I really, really needed it. And then Mela, I actually, that day that I had my initial audition, I ran into Mela in the waiting room because she and I have the same agent. And I was like, hey, I think I'm auditioning for Apex Legends and stuff. And she looks at me, she puts her hands on my shoulders and she's like, I'm manifesting this for you. It's gonna
Aw.
happen. It's gonna happen. And I was like, okay, all right, Mela. But yeah, she directed me on my very first anime. I think she like produced Skip Beat, and that's where we first met. And so she's been this like calming, wise presence in my life ever since, you know. So it's just wild that I got to join this family. And when Mohammed told me that I booked Valk, I was like freaking out and crying and just because I loved this character. And then I went, I get to join the text thread with the legends.
The group text.
I can see the Legends just having their own show at this point. Like everybody's just, all the characters seem to get more and more interesting. Not to say that the other ones were less interesting, but you know what I mean. Like it's just really making it what can turn into like a sitcom or some kind of.
Yeah, and we're actually.
I would watch that.
Yeah, we're working hard to make sure that because the 8 launch characters were our 8 launch characters, and we didn't realize how big this was going to get, or how well-rounded and 3-dimensional this world was going to be. And so we're doing our best. We haven't forgotten about them. They are all in major story in season 9. Major, like we went Broken Ghost style with this, and we went back and we said we got to put all the characters in. We got to give them all arcs, and when season 9 is over, there's going to be differences in all their lives. Like things are going to change for all of them, and they do. And it's a big season for everybody. So we have not forgotten about those characters that we launched with. Like there's big stuff happening.
Yeah, I want to know everything about them. The lore of this world is what really just like hooked me on Apex in the first place, you know? I think I auditioned for Crypto Sister for Mila.
Did you really?
I auditioned for Mila and I didn't get it. And I was like, oh man, that's such a bummer. I really want to be part of this world. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about that.
It's so funny. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, and it was, I just, again, like there's, and then I remember seeing that trailer come out, and I'm like, the animation for that is just so stunning. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the cinematics are always a joy to watch, and I love watching them just shoot up to like #1 spot on YouTube. And I see you guys post that you're proud of it, and you should be, because it's really amazing. Just be like, everyone's still hyped about the game. People will scream dead game about any game they're tired of seeing around, but there is no excuse for even getting close to calling this game a dead game. People love it. People are enjoying. People are having fun. Everyone's super excited to come back to it every new season. Regardless of whether people drop off, they're always coming back. So
the community, the Apex community, is such an anomalously amazing. And I credit, the community managers there, and of course the fans, but then also Respawn put out the energy that they wanted to get back from the world. I mean, you guys launched with such an incredibly diverse roster. You keep doing things where you're like, sorry, Bloodhound is they, them, deal with it. And by cultivating that kind of community and drawing a hard line and saying, this is what we want in our community, that's what you get. And
that went to the top, man. I remember Vince saying, if you have a problem with the fact that we are launching 2 Black women, if you have a problem with the fact that we have a non-binary character, we don't want you playing our game. Goodbye.
Yeah.
See ya. It was very clear and upfront at the beginning, they won't be tolerated. That intolerance will not be tolerated. And so we all felt really proud of being able to talk about these characters, yes, who they were and who they are, and what makes them unique and special.
Yeah. And I deeply appreciate that. I do, because I have had the incredible privilege of, sort of over the past 6-7 years, sort of becoming part of my own community with tabletop and other games I've been in, with stuff with Geek and Sundry. And yeah, having it be made up of people that, want inclusion and want, positivity and want to welcome other people to these hobbies and these things they're passionate about. And to be able to join up with Apex's team and have everybody sort of be on the same page there, and having people not drop off, you know, because of who I am and what I believe in is such a treat.
Yeah, and like you said before, it doesn't feel like it's so much pandering to people that are like, we want representation, because it's not like, hey, she's a lesbian, or hey, he is gay, or you know, non-binary, or you said Lobo was bi. I don't know, I didn't know that. I'm
in her
excited.
dialogue,
I didn't really
talks
say.
about like how she's a what did she say? She's a lady killer and a man eater and a lady killer.
Yeah.
Right. Which, you know, I think I didn't put the two together because women just talk like that in general, especially like those that are heavily involved in the LGBTQ community. We're just like, you know, we love women in like girl, like the way we talk to each other.
Women.
Yeah, exactly. We love women. But yeah, no, it's the fact that it's not so much pandering. It's like they have their personalities, they have their, you know, their ethnicities and their abilities and all this stuff, and they just so happen to be in it. It just feels so natural. It doesn't feel forced. And
Loba's driving storyline is about Revenant. It's not about like about revenge.
Exactly.
It's about justice. It's not about her being bisexual at all. Like Valkyrie's driving story is not about that she's a lesbian. It's about like Bliss and her father. It's there's a lot. We work really hard to make sure that those traits are not the defining characteristics of these characters. Like really hard. And then, like Gibraltar was interesting because we didn't want to talk about the fact that he was gay all the time, and we didn't. And I hit a point about a year into the story where I was like, as a gay man, I thought, I need Gibraltar to talk about being gay. Like I get why we did this, and I get, but like he's not saying a word about it, and it's non-existent. It doesn't exist in this character anymore. Like, and so with Valkyrie, I really wanted to like, I wanted her to be blunt about it. I wanted to write it into her dialogue. I wanted part of her character. Like,
yeah, I mean, some people are loud and proud, you know,
yeah,
not everyone's
absolutely.
just like, you know, let it out, girl.
And that's the thing, is the idea of the sort of like the forced diversity sort of argument is so ridiculous, because it's just like, we exist, we are out here doing our thing and being people, you know, and we are gamers, we love the same things you all do, and it's like now we get the point to be like, hey, like me.
I've had more women write me about why don't you have lesbian representation in this game. I can't tell you that it is the number one, like that and transgender character, but like it's amazing to me like how many women are gamers, how many women are lesbians and want to be represented in video games, and they are vocal about it. They want, you know, they don't understand why they weren't represented, and they're right to feel that way. Like, I'm thrilled we can give them Valkyrie. I'm thrilled that, like, I'm sorry it took so long just because we wanted to get her right, but like, I'm thrilled we can do this for her. I just, yeah, I think she's great.
It's like, yeah, I'm sorry you had to wait, but balance, you know, balancing and
literally,
and she was supposed to be
video
an
game,
and we moved her. It's like it's been an adventure for the last 2 years trying to get this character out. So like, yeah.
This was fun. I love talking to you guys about all of this, and thank you guys so much for taking the time on your weekend to sit down and talk with me about their new exciting character, Valkyrie. And I will definitely put your guys' socials in the description. I want them to follow you.
I do a lot of voiceover stuff now, and it just keeps happening, which is wild, because, you know, I started out just as, you know, a fan, and now I get to do the things that I love, and that's bonkers to me. And I'm on Twitter a lot, and like, you know, I talk about a lot of stuff there, you know, and sort of like aspiring activism and just like trash posting and silly stuff, but like, I cannot get enough of the Valk fan art and just the lovely welcome from the community. It blows my mind, and like the cosplay and just,
oh, they're so fast on the cosplay.
How are you like this? I love like every single thing. I just treasure, you know. Yeah, so thank you to everybody. This is oh no.
Yep. If you start, I start. If you start, I start.
Oh no, are you getting watery-eyed? Oh,
truly, like the greatest honor of my life to get to be part of this story and to play Valk and to have the reception that I have. Sorry, just thanks, Tom. I love you. I love you, Tom. I love you and the whole team and the fans and the community and oh my God, this has changed my life, you know? And like, I just, even from when I booked her, I was like, oh, maybe I do belong here. Telling stories in games. Oh my God. Why can't I sexy cry? It's just got loud and crazy. Oh my God. But thank you so much.
This
everybody.
game has this effect on us. I talk about it and I cry. I don't know what it is. I don't know how we created it or cultivated it or how we keep doing it, but this thing hits you here. Everybody who works there feels the same way. People who play it feel the same way. For whatever reason, it struck a chord in a lot of us. And yeah, it's special.
And I look forward to the season. I can't wait to see what you both created, Valkyrie. We saw a glimpse and we're already in love. So great job on that. Thank you guys so much again for your time. And
thank you.
You've been amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I'm gonna keep in touch. I definitely want to see like what you're up to and what more you're gonna give us too.
Yeah, let's hop into a round together. Please carry me.
Oh. I love how you assume that I'm just amazing. I mean, sometimes I take breaks and I just need to, refresh myself, and then I get back into the groove. Just letting you know, because I don't want you to have super high expectations for me. Like I can just start popping heads or whatever.
Oh no.
Let me warm up and stuff,
Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys like what you saw, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to follow them on their socials as well. They're both amazing people, and we all know that Valkyrie is a true chick, so don't forget to share as well to just spread the word, let them know how amazing she is. Let them know how amazing Valkyrie is. Go! It's now your job to do so. See you guys later!
Love me.
Love me, love me.